blank. So let me just a quick introduction of myself. My name is Burhan. I'm the ERP consultant for ERP Business-Sys Ltd. We are authorized partners for TallyPrime in East Africa region. We have 14 years of experience in the implementation and setup of Tally in businesses. Yes, and today I will take you through to the bakery industry, how Tally will work into the bakery industry. So as you know, a bakery it has wide range of products. It has breads. You can have a bakery for cakes, cupcakes, cones. You have it's a vast industry. So today I'll be more focusing on the bread manufacturing part, but it's in general, it's for all bakeries. So I'll be taking you through to how bread is manufactured through Tally. This is the main screen, the gateway of Tally. Your company details will be on this side. And then this is the main screen for Tally, as you can see, your gateway of Tally. Okay. So for this company, I have created a few of ledgers and few stock items that I will require in production and sales part and to help me out. So let me just show, I'll just show you. Okay, you'll see I've created a few ledgers, M-Pesa accounts, cash in hand accounts. I've even allocated to the certain groups. I've created a few debtors, as you can see, Amina, Burhan, Kathy, customer, Dennis, Francis. All these are under debtors account, so you can group it out, your groupings. Okay. And then your duties and VAT also, I've created a VAT account. If it's VAT applicable, if you're buying, you're purchasing, it's VAT applicable, you can keep it in duties and taxes. Okay, and I've created a few creditors, supplier accounts, supplier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've kept under creditors, and a few of our expenses that I have created. As you can see, electricity, overtime, fuel, motor vehicle repair and maintenance, office stationery. Those are the few expenses that I have created. Okay, yeah. So now we move on to the bill of materials. I'll show you the bill of materials. Bill of materials is what these are the requirements of raw materials that's required to give you the end product. So in Tally, you can always keep your bill of materials for an item, that this amount of raw materials will be required to get the final product, right? So if you go to bill of materials, if I'll just take one item, for example, as I said earlier, I'm taking for white bread. So I'll have bill of materials for white bread. So this is the creation part. So you can see I have my item name here, white bread 400 grams. Okay. You can have a code. If you have a code, a part number, you can always place it here. Okay. Group, you can always group it out, which it's under finished group. It's a raw material, you can place it under raw materials. Okay. And you can always specify the units. Units I have kept as numbers. Okay. So you can see here, alter components, BOM. So this I'm setting the BOM for white bread. Okay. So if you say yes, so here, as you can see, to produce 120 pieces, I have kept it units of manufacture. 120 pieces, I'll require pre-mixture of 4 kgs, flour of 30 kgs, yeast 250 grams, and packaging material of 120 pieces. So this is what I require to produce 120 pieces of bread in the system. So automatically the system will calculate how much you are producing. It will take this formulation. So to calculate 120, it will get that calculation. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in the chat box. We'll answer it after we have finished this session. We'll have a Q&A session at the end. Feel free to drop the questions. Okay. So after bill of materials, you can always get your cost estimation. Once you have set your bill of materials, you know, how much it requires to produce 120 pieces, you can know how much cost you have. So let me just show you the cost estimation. As you can see here, I have had a cost estimation for white bread and 400 grams and 200 grams. So for 200 grams, my cost of estimation is 12.14 shillings. It incurs me 12.1 shillings to produce one piece of bread. Okay, so pre-mixture white, as you can see, this cost, it's taking from the last purchase cost that you have taken, it's taking that cost with the purchase rate. It's taking from the purchase rate. Okay, you can say 4 kilos, the cost is this much. So your white bread it's costing you 12.14 shillings per bread. And your 400 grams, it's costing you 23.43 shillings per bread, your cost. And it gives you a breakdown. So your pre-mixture, you'll require 4 kgs, 129.88 shillings. That's the amount. Flour, the same. 30 kilos, you'll require to produce 120 pieces. 65 kgs, the amount is 1950. So it will give you your cost. So automatically you can know while producing if you have incurred a higher cost, or it's in the same range, or it's below the cost. You can always get because of the cost estimation. Okay. Now we move on to, you can always set reorder levels in the system per item. You can always have reorders in the system. So if I give it to you, if I check it, you can always check here. So I have set a reorder for packaging materials. Reorder is in the system. It will give you a report. It's on the basis of how much closing stock you have and how much reorder you have set in the system. So you can always have a view that if you have set in the system that if an item reaches 5,000 pieces, it has to generate so that I have to order more pieces. So you will always get that report. So you will know where you are in terms of your stock, how much stock you have, how much you have to reorder again to get that balance. So for example, I have set a reorder of packaging materials, 400 grams. My closing stock currently right now is 24,500. Okay, you can have, if you have any purchase orders pending, sales orders, it will show here and your net available. And then here it shows reorder level. I have kept it of 5,000. So whenever packaging materials 400 grams reaches 5,000, the closing stock reaches 5,000, it will give me a report that I have to order again because it has reached 5,000. So I have to order again, and my minimum reorder quantity is 10,000 pieces. So I have to order another 5,000, so it reaches 10,000 because that's my minimum reorder quantity. Okay, yeah. So that's how you, in Tally, you can also get your reorder levels or report that how much stock you have, how much you have to reorder to maintain that stock. Yeah. Okay. Once I've showed you the reorder, now we move to the purchase part. I've showed you the BOM reorder. The first process in production is purchase of raw materials, right? So you go to purchase, we'll create a purchase. We can create a purchase material. Okay. You can, this is the data entry part. So you can have your supplier's invoice number for details, your supplier's date, what date it is, who's your supplier. You can say I'm buying from supplier 5, supplier 4, you can say. Okay, your supplier details, you can always key in the address, this county, which one this is. It's filled in the masters, so it's automated. Okay, purchase material, and then you key in your item. What are you purchasing? So for example, let me say I'm purchasing flour. Flour, I'm purchasing 300 kilos. So as you can see, I've set an alternate unit. So in Tally, it also allows you to have alternate units. So I've said 300 kilos and it has automatically generated to 6 bags because I've kept it that one bag is 50 kilos. So it will also give you your units per bag and per kilos. How much kilos you have, how much bags it is. So it's 6 bags. 300 kilos is 6 bags. Okay. Rate you can keep as 65 shillings. Okay. And maybe you can okay, you can buy packaging materials. You say you buy this 10,000 pieces. Okay, 1.43 shillings your amount. So that's your supply. Then this is the purchase of raw materials that you are feeding into the system, and you just save it. So in Tally, what happens? It's in real time. Your stocks get updated in real time. You do a purchase, it gets affected in real time. Your stock will automatically be added. So if we check in, if we come to the stock summary, as I'll show you, stock summary, you'll see in raw materials, as I showed you, flour has been increased. If I go deeper inside, I'll show you. Okay, you can see 300 kilos has been added in the purchase in inwards, and my closing balance is 875 kilos. So the 300 kilos has been reflected in the system because I have saved the purchase. Okay, and packaging materials 200 grams I saved. So in this also you'll see, you see 10,000 pieces I have inputted in the system, so automatically it has been reflected. Okay, yeah. So the purchase part, once you have purchased the raw materials, now we move into the production part, production of breads and premixtures. So in production of bread, premixture is a very key ingredient. So first we'll have to produce premixture, so then we can produce the bread. Okay, so we first produce production of premixture. Okay, you key in the date, you type in. Okay, what are we producing? We'll produce premixture white. So as you can see, automatically we have also set bill of materials for premixture white. It will require sugar, salt, improver, calcium, and white fat. We have set in the bill of materials for premixture white. So automatically, if I say, if I want to produce 20 kilos of premixture, the system will automatically generate. It will automatically calculate with the bill of materials that how much you will require, how much raw materials you require for 20 kilos. So it says sugar, you require 10 kilos. At this rate, the rate is whatever purchase rate you have purchased your raw materials. So sugar, for example, we have purchased for 87.93, salt 1,200 grams to produce 20 kilos of premixture. Improver 680 grams, calcium 700 grams, and white fat 7.42 grams. Okay, it says this much you require to produce 20 kilos. Okay, and you save it. And here I have added production overhead of 10%. Now this, it can be determined within your own company, how much overheads you have. You can calculate. If you have 5%, if you have 10%, 15%, you can always keep it in your production overheads. For example, if electricity overhead is there, labor. Okay, so I've kept it as 10%. So it's calculating of 259.75. It's calculating this amount. It's 10% of 2,597. It's calculating that amount. So down here, you'll get your effective rate, your cost of producing the premixture. So you can say your cost is 142.86 per kilo. 142 shillings, your cost is to produce 1 kilo of premixture white. Yeah, and you will save it. So automatically, once you have produced 20 kilos, automatically 20 kilos also will reflect in your system because you have produced. So if you go to stock summary again, if we check premixture, we'll check. You'll see that we have produced the 20 kilos here. The one we said 142.86. This is the entry. So automatically it has been added. Stock has been added to pre-mixture. Okay. So the next step, once we have produced pre-mixture, we now go on, we move on to produce breads. The final product now. The final product, if we go to production, production of bread. Okay. The same name of product, we say we are producing white bread. Okay. White bread of 400 grams. Even here, as you see, we have set the bill of materials. We have set premixture. It requires premixture, flour, yeast, and packaging materials to produce white bread. So it will automatically generate the quantities by itself because we have set it. So for example, let's say we are producing 150 pieces of white bread at a given time, at one production time, at one batch. So 150, as you can see, premixture is calculated to 5 kilos at 142. So this is the purchase cost. Flour, it will calculate 37.5 kilos being used to produce. Yeast, 313 grams. And packaging materials of 150. Okay. Yeah. We have said on this part, we can always keep your scrap. You see, it says here co-product, byproduct, or scrap. In terms of bakery, scrap is maybe damaged bread, something you can't sell, you can't package it. It's broken into half. So you can always key in your damaged product. You can key in here and the quantity. So, for example, I said 20 pieces have been damaged. 20 pieces have been damaged. So this also will affect your stock. It will affect your damaged stock. It will add it in your damaged stock of 20 pieces. Then maybe you can sell it at a lower price. You can just give it, you can pass a journal. It's upon you how you do it. And here also we have kept a production overhead of 10%. So it calculates to this amount, it calculates your production overhead of 10% and it gives you. So the same, your rate, it says that 26.25 shillings per one piece of white bread. Your cost of producing one bread is 26.25 shillings. It gives you the exact cost. After this, we'll check the cost estimate. Once we save this, we can see it's 26.25, right? So as we can see, we can come to the cost estimation part. The finished goods, you can see white bread, the cost was 23.43. But on that certain production, it was 26.45, just a tiny difference. So you can always know when you are in range in production, if you are doing the production right, or you are missing something, you are incurring more expenses. So you can always know it. You can always have a record of it. Yeah. So the same production, now we have done production. So if we check the stock summary of finished goods, you'll see finished goods has been increased. You'll see 150 pieces, the ones that we produced, it has been reflected in the system and automatically system stock has been updated to 320. It has been added, our stock has been added, yeah. Okay, yeah. Now we move to the sales. So we go to sales, we'll create a sale, okay. We'll create a cell, we'll select party name. Okay, party name, we'll select Dennis. Okay, Dennis. Okay. Salesperson, you can always have your salesperson. If you have multiple salesperson, you can always select your salesperson. Price list also, you can maintain your price list. You can set a certain price that below that price, you can't sell a minimum selling price and you can't sell below that price. Price list, you can always set the price list in the system item wise. So we say we are selling white bread, we are selling. Okay. So we are selling, for example, let's say we are selling 60 pieces of it at 40. The rate is set because of the price list of 40. Okay. We go to 40. Yeah. And then we add the crates. Why do we add for bread businesses? We usually add crates because it's something the bread is packed on the crates and we give it to the customer. So we can always add the crates. And here, if we say, let's say we add 10 crates, okay? 10 crates, we have added 10 crates, so you can have a record that I later show you a report on the crates and the extra cent. And also we add extra cents. Extra cent, what does extra cent do in the bread business? As per my knowledge, extra cent is it's some sort of a savings or a deposit from the customer to our account. So in ours, it's a liability, it's a current liability. It's an advance or a security so that the customer pays within the sale. It's usually 1 shilling per bread. Those who have bread businesses, I'm sure they can relate to it. They always charge one shilling extra, just as a savings or extra cent. So as if we say that if we charge 1 shilling per bread, so we can say the extra cent is 60 shillings. So automatically, you can see here, for Dennis, you can see his previous balances. His previous balance is 8,610. It will show you. It will show you his previous savings, how much savings he has. He has 210 shillings of savings. And you can also see his previous crates balance. How much crates Dennis has, how much crates he still has, and he hasn't still returned to you. You can always have an overview while selling. While making another sale, this report, these 3 balances you can get in Tally. So you can have a general overview of where Dennis is. Okay. And you have saved this sale. Okay. So if we check Dennis's account, if we come here and we check Dennis's account, you can see his balance of 11,070. You can always see, okay, he has sale amounting of 1230, 4920, 2460, and 2460, another one. His balance is 11,070. He has not paid anything. So his closing balance also is 11,070. Right? Yeah. Okay. Dennis, that's Dennis. So now we come to the crates management and the extra set management. Extra set management, you can always get a record. You can always get a record of how much extra cent a client has. You can always get a brief overview. If you come to account books and group summary, we have created as extra cent. You can see here, it's in the extra cent account. Dennis's extra cent is amounting to 2,270 shillings. And Michael's extra cent is amounting to 120 shillings. This is for the bread sector. You can always maintain the extra cents of each customer. So if you include it in the sale, automatically it reflects in this account. This is a separate account to the customer account. Dennis's account is different. This is his extra cent account. Okay. Yeah. So that's there. And we can also manage the crates movement. How much crates you have in stock, how much crates is outside to customers that have not yet returned. So if you go to movement analysis and stock item, we'll check. We can always get a overview. You can always check, okay, suppliers, I have 200 pieces of crates, 200 numbers. I have 200 pieces. Okay. Buyers, as you can see, 35 crates are with Dennis and 20 crates are with Michael. Okay. 35 crates. He has not yet returned 35 crates. He took 5 crates. As you can see here, there is a sales of 5 crates, then 20 crates, 10 crates. He did a return for 10 crates. And then there is another sale for 10 crates. So in total, he has 35 crates. Still he has. So you can always have a record how much crates, because if you do it manually, it will be very hard to track. It will be very hard to track how much crates does each customer have. So in your system, you can always get it. You can always get exact reports. Michael has 20 crates. He bought 10 crates and 10. He has 2 sales. Okay. So now, if he returns the crates to you, for example, he returns back the crates to you. So it's just that you come in the system, you do a crates return credit note for crates only. You see, as you can see here, there is crates return. So crates return, you'll select crates return. We'll say Dennis. Dennis is the crates return. Okay. Dennis crates return. Name, we'll ask name of item. We'll say what crates. He's returning crates. A credit note of crates. He's returning 15 crates to us. He's returning back to us. So it will affect in our stock. So, and once you key in this and you save it, once you have saved this, you can check in Dennis's account. Okay. Movement analysis, stock item. You'll see crates. You'll see Dennis's, it was 35 crates. Now it's reduced to 20 because he has returned the 15 crates and we have already passed the entry in the crates. So it's 20 crates, as you can see it here. Okay. Yeah. So that's the crates management and extra cent management as per in Tally. Yeah. Okay. You can always get your supplier's ledger, customer ledger. For example, if you want to see supplier's closing balance, how much he has, so you can always check it here. Oh, this supplier, I have bought 3 for the period of 1st to Jan. You can always periodize. You can say maybe during this day, how much I have bought, 2nd Jan, how much I have bought. You can always say, okay, I bought of 33,000. If you want for a whole period of January, how much purchase I've done for this customer, you can always check it out. And you can see this supplier, you owe him 90,000. He owes you 90,099.7 shillings. He owes you that much amount and you have not yet paid. So you can always get your balances, your customer balances, your suppliers balances. If you go to customers balances, for example, as I showed you earlier, Dennis's account, you can always check Dennis's account, how much balance he has, how much receipts. If he has paid anything, it will show it here, and the closing balance of how much. Okay. Yeah. And then in Tally, you can always get your company's profit and loss and your balance sheet. Profit and loss account is automatically generated with calculation with your purchase account. How much purchase you have done, purchase account. You can always check it for 400,000 kind of purchase you have done. Yes. Sales account, how much sales you have. Closing stock in hand you have, closing balance of stock, and it will generate with your gross flow. And if you have made a net profit or a net loss. If you have indirect expenses, it will generate here, and if it will show you if you have generated a net loss or a net profit. Yeah, the same applies to balance sheet. You can get your company's balance sheet. You can have your capital account. If you have capital, loans and liabilities, your current liabilities. And as I said earlier, extra cent acts as a liability on our side. So on our side, as you can see, 390 shillings, extra cent is a liability on our side, on our balance sheet, on our books. Yeah. So 270 and 120, as you can see earlier. Yeah. And current assets, as you can see, closing stock and your debtors, how much you owe. Debtors, Dennis, you owe 11,000. So you can get a full summary of the list of debtors you have. You can get a full summary in Tally or profit and loss account. Yes. Yeah. So that is basically for this. I've concentrated more on bread, but for all bakery, the process is the same. Product.